So I'm joined with Ren today, and we're going to be talking about 20 grand cars for the weekend, and ideally aimed at when we go into the Peak District, what cars would we want to be bringing? So, a bit overview about the Peak District tour. It's 500 per car, includes two people, a stay at a really nice hotel and spa. And then on top of that, we've got some great driving roads plugged in for you as well, courtesy of Ren doing the mapping, so to speak. And of course, on the final night, as always, we'll have a nice meal with everyone put together with some awards because we might have some little competitions going during the actual tour itself. So I suppose first things first. So Ren, do you want to show us your first car that you want to be 20k budget? What you'd be bringing if you could just go out and get hold of 20 grand?
That'd be the first thing to do, but yeah. So let's find 20 grand tomorrow. I think my first car, really, the first thing I'd go, if it's for a trip in the Peak District, is grab an MX-5. So you can get MX-5 for as low as 5 grand nowadays. But as I'm given a 20 grand budget, I can get an ND, the last generation, almost brand new, very low mileage. I think that's probably the best car for a trip in the Peak District, really. You're driving through, cute little villages like Bakewell or twisty little roads like Snake Pass. You just put the roof down. You've got a good chassis under you.
And you're going for the manual, yeah?
Yeah, definitely manual for the MX-5.
Manual MX-5. Okay, so that's an interesting choice. And I suppose, yeah, what we're looking at, these are, well, I say they're 18 grand. That's a fairly new one, isn't it? So even if you had a 10 grand budget, if you've got a 10 grand budget, you got MX-5. I would say it's a little bit too much of an obvious choice.
Yes.
But at the same time, it is looking good. So we're also live as well. I just want to see if anyone else has got any of the cards out there. So a few other people are saying hi, so that's great. Yeah, have you ever driven an MX-5? Here's the question. Everyone talks about them. Have you ever driven one?
No, I'm driving the third generation's cousin. So I'm driving an RX-8, which shares chassis component with the MX-5 NC.
Right.
Pretty sure the MX-5 would feel slightly lighter and different, but yeah. I want an MX-5. It's as simple as that. I just want one. I like the appeal of it. Maybe it's the midlife crisis hitting, but I need a convertible in my life.
Okay, perfect. Well, that makes sense. I suppose on the world to convertibles, I'm going to just share my screen and show you what I would be doing if it was up to me. So first things first, the share button was there before, so I think you have to stop sharing and then I'll reshare across.
There you
go. Here we go. So this is basically based off a car that I hired recently on Turo. Ford Mustang V8. I kind of feel like from a value perspective, 20 grand, so much car, so much noise, so much, and actually I'm a family of three, so I will be, for this particular tour, I'm actually bringing my family along. The wife and little one will be staying at the hotel spa, but however, 4 seats is a must for me. But I've got to admit, I do love a convertible and I do love the sound of a V8. And for 20 grand, I think you wouldn't lose too much money on these over time. And it's Ford, you can get the parts, you can get lots of upgrade parts. I know you and I were into modding cars back in the noughties, and sound system, alloys, stickers, stickers make the car go faster,
Well, you've got two faster stripe, go faster stripe there. So that's at least 50 horsepower on top.
Absolutely, yeah. But this is where I think the debate, I would probably go for, if I wasn't going for the Bullet Edition, which is out of budget, but if I was going for a convertible, I'd go auto. Magna Ride is a must. Go for automatic. I just feel like it's the ultimate cruiser, and going around Matlock, cruising around, you've got the power, you've got the sound, and the good thing about the sound is, without breaking the speed limits, you feel like you're more engaged. You feel like you're going a little bit faster. So
I suppose you've got a lot of torque in that, isn't it? A lot of low down grunt.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's yeah, absolute dream car. Like I said, yeah, hired one from Toro. For the weekend, it was 300 quid. There'll be more coming on about that later. But again, it's just a nice way to get into a car and test it out, so to speak. So that's one for one. What else have you got for us?
All right, let's have a look. So there you go. So I think I've had my convertible. I still have 20 grand to spend, right? I would go for a Porsche Cayman. That's one of those. I've always wanted one of them.
So what makes you go for a Cayman over a Boxster?
Well, I already had the MX-5, so I already have a convertible. I don't want two convertible in the same selection. If not, I'd go for the Boxster. Basically, a Cayman is a Boxster with a roof, isn't it? We're going to have a lot of Porsche enthusiasts going around with pitchforks. But I just love the look of a Cayman. I love the fact that it's mid-engine, so it would behave a little differently from a 911. It's not the most powerful car there. It's just a nice car, and again, a nice chassis.
And I can see you've gone for the PDK. Is that on purpose, or is this because you like the white one?
I love white cars. No, I don't mind an automatic, and the PDK is a very, very nice automatic. Obviously, you know, the MX-5, I would be ragging it, but you don't have that much power. You can roll through the gears, and it loves being revved. Here you have a little more power, a little bit more torque. You can actually just take it easy and let the car carry you around on some of those roads.
And I suppose from a pricing perspective with a Cayman is, if you walked into a Cayman for 17.5 grand, you had it for a couple of summers, you'd probably walk out only losing a couple of grand off the back of it. And well-maintained one with a, maybe not directly with Porsche, but, you know, a Porsche specialist wouldn't cost an arm and a leg to keep that servicing on the road.
Porsche has got a very, very good record with their cars. I think 75% of the cars they've ever produced are still on the road. So Porsche owners have a tendency to take care of their cars. That's already peace of mind if you go in and buy a second-hand one. And, you know, yeah, as you said, maintaining it keeps its value. If you want to resell it, you're not going to lose your bottom on it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no.
Why have you go for me?
Okay, so let's see. You went for a hard top 2-seater convertible. Mine's F-Type. So again, wouldn't mind too much if it was a convertible or a hard top. I think these are the underrated cars. I love an F-Type. I think they're the prettiest cars going. The annoying thing is, I think the coupe is prettier, but I love a convertible, so I would be torn between the two.
You're going for the V6 or the V8?
I'm going for the V6S. I've heard. I just feel like, one, price perspective. Secondly, it's got a solid engine. And thirdly, it's a little bit less weight for the understeer. So I just feel like it's already not the most agile car in the world. So having a V8 would make it even less agile. So if I want that big, heavy cruiser, I'm going Mustang. If I want that slight agility, bit posher, yeah, it would be F-Type V6S all day long.
Nice cars, and they do sound good.
They do, and it's fairly modern interior for the price point. So where the Fords are looking a bit old and tired, I think the Jags still look quite up there. I do think it's solid. Reliability, I'm not too sure on. Some people have said it's solid, some people don't. You know, it tends to be the electrics. You know, so if you don't mind your windows not going up and down or the sat nav being a bit blinky, you know, it might be something. But
it's like a good-looking French car.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you know, these aren't going to exist anymore. You know, Jaguar's gone in a different direction to everyone else.
You're gonna get some of those new ones?
No, in a nutshell. I think I'd go Bentley. If I've got 200 grand for a coupe, I'd probably go Bentley. I probably wouldn't go Jaguar just because I just don't understand them at the moment. So first world problems if you've got 200 grand to spend on a sports car.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I'm working on it. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, and I think things like where we're going when we hit the Peak District, Snake Pass and stuff like that. I think this has got enough kind of grunt and precision without being too big for those kind of roads.
Yeah.
And again, automatic. I'm a big fan of automatics unless it's proper sports and sports cars. But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting one. So yeah, if you want to take control and.
So we go from the Porsche. I've decided to go a little bit old school and have an old school Impreza Turbo.
Oh, I mean,
I was like, what can 20 grand get me if I go old school on an Impreza? Never had one, but I remember being at the back of one of those as a student, and it scared the living hell out of me. And I was like, I must have one of those one day. Obviously,
yes.
all-wheel drive, old school turbo, on roads like the roads you meet you get to drive on in the Peak District, and then the sound of the Impreza, people will hear you come from miles away, definitely.
Oh mate, yeah. I mean, so for the people on TikTok, are you thinking of 90s cars, thumbs up and likes, or are you thinking actually no, you'd go something a bit more modern? Let us know what you're thinking. But so what made you go for the old Subaru and not Mitsubishi Evo? Is it literally because you've been in one in the back and it harks back to your school days?
Yeah, I was at the back of one of those, different color, and I remember it made a big impression on me. I was very, very nervous getting in the car because I was on my way to an exam. I was at uni.
Okay.
And the dude driving that car was driving it like an absolute maniac. And by the time I got out of the car, I wasn't stressed about my exam anymore. The noise, the drama around that thing, and it had some show. I mean, in modern terms, it doesn't have tons of power, but we also forget how light cars were back then.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, they say never meet your heroes. It'd be interesting to drive something like that, to go back and go, is it amazing, or is it going to be, all
that plastic and the thing breaking down? Yeah.
Well, you got an RX-8, so it's going to be
going
to be an uptake from that. But yeah, no, that's.
What's your third car?
This is. If I had to have the car for a summer and I could just hand it back, I didn't have to sell it, didn't have to service it. I could just have the car, hand it back at the end. I'm thinking I've seen better. I'd probably go hardtop on this, but something like a DB9 Aston Martin, because I'm like, if I could just have it and hand it back, how cool would that be? I wouldn't want to own it. I want to insure it. I want to service it, but I do think 20 grand. I mean, this isn't the best example, but 20 grand.
Yeah. You've got the back, you've got the engine.
Oh, just hell of a car for £20,000.
I tell you what, I really wanted to squeeze in the lineup a second convertible, and that would have been a TVR Tamora, but I can't find any at that price range.
I'll tell you what's scary. There's more Aston Martins on sale on Facebook than there is on Auto Trader and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know how real they are, but
9 careful owners.
Yeah, could you buy a car like this off someone? I suppose if you're a mechanic, you can. But yeah, for me, absolutely. If I could have one of these for a summer, and I could just hand it back afterwards. Absolutely. But yeah, from 18 to 22 grand gets you quite a collection. But again, I don't know if a 20 grand Aston Martin DB9 is something you'd want to own. But
well, can we have a moment of silence for all those people who once upon a time bought those cars brand new, and now they're on sale on Facebook for pennies?
I think if you've got 120 grand spend on an Aston Martin and you lose 40 grand on your first ownership after a couple of years, you're probably okay. It's probably a tax write-off somewhere along the line, and a company bought it. So you're probably okay. I think it's more for the people that maybe paid 60 for it and lost 20. They're probably hurts their pocket more than anyone else.
Maybe.
But yeah, so that's my one. So
nice.
but I'll definitely make sure that the last one's a hard top for you guys. But so what I'll do is on to is this? I think this is the final one now, isn't it?
We're on the bonus one, yeah.
Cool.
So my bonus car, I had to. I'm sorry, but I had to. The reason why I put a Mazda RX-8 in there is because I have a Mazda RX-8 and I've driven it through the Peak District, and it was a lovely experience. Last summer, I went to pick up my car in Manchester, had a brand new engine fitted in it, and decided to run the engine in cruising through the Peak District. And just a lovely car. It's a car I've taken on a holiday twice on the continent, on road trip on the continent. 4 seats, so we can put the little one in. And it also has a boot. It might not be the biggest opening. You need duffel bags rather than suitcases. But once you manage to shove whatever you wanted to shove into the boot, there's actually a lot of space in there. Very comfortable cruiser, long distance, and it's just lovely handling too on those roads on the Peak District. As long as you're not too tight with regard to fuel consumption, you're fine.
So is that £8,000 with the £12,000 in the back for the new engine, parts, plug-ins, fuel, oil?
That one hopefully is in a good nick. I mean, it's a 40th anniversary edition, so it's a nice package to have. It's a limited edition. And you've got the 231, the high power Wankel engine with the 6-speed gearbox, which is a bit different from mine. But yeah, definitely would go for one of those if I had the money.
Awesome. And I take it you're bringing the RX-8, to the actual trip, aren't you?
That's the plan. That'll be my car for this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I've still got to figure out what I'm bringing at the moment. It could be anything from, I'm quite looking forward to potentially getting access to in a bath.
Ooh.
So that could be something which, again, 4 seats, fun, cheap to run, ironically. Well, obviously way less than 20 grand. That'll be off Turo as well. We'll put some links in as well to get some discounts if anyone wants to use Turo. We're not affiliated, but hey, happy to, share the love and give some discount codes out as well. And then apparently Taylor Swift is following me, but I don't think it's the real one. If not, we're going to next follow. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do my final one. And my final one is a tiny bit boring, okay? But what I wanted to do is keep it as real as possible. So, for example, if I was really going to spend 20 grand on a car and I had to be a little bit sensible, what would I do? So let me just try and share my screen again. Audi TTS.
Nice.
Okay. I just think pound for pound, 300 horsepower, 4-wheel drive. So you've got the shove. It's also got decent economy. It's got a fair size boot. Kids will fit in the back. It's iOS. It's got car seats can go in them. It's got brilliant display, sound system. They all come with the B&O sound system. I don't think you'd lose too much money over a couple of years with them. The engine can be found in obviously a number of different things. So I've owned a Cupra Ateca before with the same engine, DSG gearbox. You kind of think it's a lot.
It's sort of car for the money, and it's a good looking car. I remember seeing the advert for those when they first launched them. I saw the advert on television. I think you had that car driving on the ramp and then taking off, and a nice car. I'd get one of those if I had.
Do you think a TTS is like the MX-5? So MX-5, realistically, if you got 5 to 10 grand, MX-5 is the obvious choice. Rear-wheel drive, hard top, soft top, manual, kind of hits everything. Where TTS is, you got 20 grand and you want something which is fun, practical, not going to break down necessarily. I know it's Audi, but within reason, it's quite solid. Is it like the MX-5?
I, I think the MX-5 is maybe too obvious a choice. You hear the American Miata. Miata is always the answer. It just everyone thinks MX-5. I think your Audi is a little bit thinking outside of the box. It might not be an obvious choice. It's a good choice. I approve. I'd get one of those. I don't think it's an obvious choice. It's a nice, good-looking car as well. There, it looks.
However, as a convertible, ugly as sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one, it goes from 4 seats to 2 seats, and yeah, I don't know if you've seen one or not, but it looks awkward. It looks a little bit awkward when it's a convertible. But I do think
convertibles on your list, so you can go with a hard top from time to time.
And that's the thing. So, we're car shopping at the weekend, but park that when I'm going to be car shopping for my, let's say, semi-sports car, and it's this kind of money. It is like Audi, Mustang, not an Aston Martin. Probably not an F-Type, because I do want more than 2 seats, so more chance of using it with my daughter and everything. But you kind of think a TTS, like solid, fun, practical cars.
Yeah, if it's well maintained, it should actually not let you down.
Yeah, but I just don't know if it's the car that you park up and you turn around and you look at it. I think you'd have that for a few weeks, but I don't know how long you'd have that for. Where with something like a Ford Mustang, you're always going to go have a little look, and every time the engine starts and it does that burble, you're like, I bought the right car. I bought the right car.
Yeah, I think that Audi is a reasonable second car. I think your Mustang it's the 9-year-old kid inside of you talking, pulling at your sleeve and going, whoa.
And as much as I like Golf R's, because the same package, you've got you've got the Golf R, you've got this, you've got a couple of, you'd have to go for the Leon Estate to have the 4-wheel drive. I just feel like it feels like the most sporty, but also, you can turn up at a hotel spa in one of these and it looks fine. But at the same time, I've seen people track these as well. You have to do a few little adjustments, change the brake fluids and stuff like that, just more sporty stuff, but they're not that heavy. So again, I don't know, it's maybe not as practical as a hatch.
Brain versus heart. Brain versus heart. You go for the Mustang or you go for that?
I don't know. Like I said, I've only driven a much older Audi TT, and I got to admit, the traction and the pull, the immediate pull you get more on this, where I think in the Mustang, when you're in gear and you put your foot down, that roar and the pull kicks in. It's like a big hug. Not necessarily on a cold day when you're in a rear-wheel drive Mustang, but you definitely get a hug. Where actually, I don't know, something like this in the UK, where it could be August and we've got rain. I do feel like it's
you'll probably be safer in the Audi.
Yeah, you would be safer, wouldn't you? But again, does that make it worse? Does that make it a bit like the?
No. I'd go for the Audi TT. I like the car.
Cool. So, I mean, I'm happy to say that the worst car on the list is probably the DB9, but it's the one I'd want to. It
was a bold choice. I'm glad you're the one who made that choice, but it was a bold choice. Good car, though.
Okay, we've got all the cars in our list.
Yeah.
And someone turns up and says, "Here's the keys for one day. Out all those cars, which car are you taking?"
Might surprise you, but I might go for a day. I might go for the Mustang. There's some kind of weird appeal with the muscle car.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever own one. They are big. I'm not really into big cars. They're big, large. They're heavy. They are loud, and they probably you see them and you hear them from far away. But there's that thing inside of me, we're not that young, you and me, right? And I grew up with watching movies on television. You've got those Corvettes and those Vipers and those Mustang, Chargers, and I'm like, I need to get my hands on one of those American V8 one day and experience that. Hope somebody gives me a key from any of the cars between your section and my section for one day. I'd go for a Mustang just to try it.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think we've run out of cars now, so that's enough for this segment. I can't remember, what are we doing next time round? I'll let you.
Okay, so I think next time we'll be talking about our top 3 cars plus bonus for a road trip through Wales.
Awesome. So yeah,
same price range, and we cannot reuse cars we've already selected. So that'll be 20 grand budget. We've got a road trip a weekend in Wales. Here's our 3 dream cars, plus a bonus car, and we'll see what we can do with that.
Perfect. So anyone on TikTok or anywhere else, if you could think of any cars that we've missed out and you want to put it in the chat, size and dice it, let us know what you would do and why, and that would be great. And then look forward to catching up in the future. So everyone on TikTok, thanks for joining, and join us later. And again, feedback is always welcome. Thank you.
There you go. Good little chat with Richard here. So do tell me, if you had to pick one of those cars, or any car actually, under 20 grand, to take on a weekend road trip to the Peak District, which one would be your choice? You can pick one of Richard's car, one of my cars, or any other car. Your budget is £20,000. Do let me know in the comment below. Also, we'll do regular videos, Rich and I. We will have our top 3 plus bonus car. It's the same format every time. We have one for Wales, one for Scotland, and then we'll start going through some specifics, your 90s JDMs and so on and so forth. So please do like and subscribe. It would help us enormously. As you can see, we're not pros, but we hope to improve as we go along. I will drop below in the description a link to Richard and I's page, which is Driven by Espresso. This is the medium through which we will organize all of those road trips. So please do follow that page. There will be also a link toward my personal page, which is Alex8 and stuff. And there will be a link toward the Driven by Espresso Instagram. That's it. Don't hesitate to join in the conversation. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Cheers. Bye-bye.